Josh, do you think tow truck drivers are good or evil?
Some would say a little of both.
Little of both. Well, we're going to be talking about the evil ones,
Oh,
not
no.
not the AAA ones that come and help you,
Yeah.
but the ones that are a bit more predatory. Because in SF, there was a very eye-opening experience that someone experienced in the middle of the city.
Oh no, this doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing what happened. So effectively, this person was in traffic, and then all of a sudden, a tow truck driver came out of nowhere and tried to hook up to them and tow them away.
That is wild. That is such a wild thing to do.
Mm-hmm. They were in the car. They were in traffic. Yeah. So I'm like, what in the world? So the whole story is that they were at sitting in the street, and there was a Waymo car, like a driverless car, and this tow truck came, and it's like, oh, maybe they're gonna go tow the Waymo car, and it's like, no, they're gonna go. They went up and then started trying to put the forks onto their car.
That's insane.
And this is in broad daylight, middle of the street.
I wonder what would possess a person to do this, because that's clearly not something that
is normal.
That is normal, or nothing I've ever heard of in general.
I mean, I've heard of these scams in terms of trying to get people to pay the tow fees and the storage fees, but I've never heard of it when they're in the car. And there's additional information that we're going to tell you about this story after you consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting that like button, come out with interesting topics like this one daily. So if you want to stay up to date with interesting topics like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. So what are some reasons why someone would get towed?
Some of the reasons why someone would get towed would be that, first off, it would be like what you mentioned, like AAA coming out and helping you.
Yeah, I don't think they were helping, but
in this case they weren't helping. But two, it's like if you have a flat, maybe you get towed, and then third, your car is getting impounded from being in in an area it's not supposed to be.
And I guess the last one that you didn't mention was maybe you were late on a payment and you got your car repossessed.
Oh, you're right.
So my mind was like, oh, maybe the car was getting repoed and they're doing a really aggressive repo deal where they're going to go hook up to the car and then drive away with it. But I mean, with the person in it, that's going to be bad. But what ended up happening is that they didn't owe anything. It was just an unlucky person that was trying to get towed.
But in the middle of
SF?
In the middle of SF, yeah. This is crazy. And them still being in the car, I've never heard of a...
Oh, I've heard of that.
You've heard of repo people taking people while being in the car?
Yeah.
While they were in the car?
Yeah, well, there was one where they repoed the car, but the person was in the backseat sleeping. And so they took the car and they got to the impound yard, and the person shows them, like, hey, I'm here.
The heck?
So they're people are like, oh, this person definitely should sue because that's not right, but et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, internet sleuths have looked at the name Specialty Towing, which is the company that was trying to tow this person. But the thing is that a Specialty Towing is banned from working in San Francisco.
Oh, really?
But not this one. But the crazy thing is that Specialty Towing in Redwood City is banned from operating in SF because they misled and scam people out of hundreds of dollars by illegally towing cars and make them hard to retrieve. And this similarly named company, or the one that is banned, got apparently $2 million in gross annual revenue from towing illegally, or this towing in general. So I was like, dang, that's
a lot of money. Yeah.
That's pretty good. But I mean, considering that they were going in
illegally towing all these
people.
people.
So they were going and stalking out places like banks and stuff, and they would go and tow random cars.
How would you know? This is my thing. It's how would you know who tows them?
A lot of times parking lots have signs that say where which tow company
to call.
Yeah.
But if you're illegally towing, that makes you wonder.
Maybe they leave a sign.
Maybe it's a calling card.
Yeah, they leave a calling card. They're like, oh, you look for the Joker, you know?
Oh my God.
This is a Joker thing. But I mean, this would be very frustrating. This is what so they described the whole experience as very like scary and frightening because if they actually got away, but it was only because the person behind them drove away like around them, and which allowed the car to back up and drive away.
Yeah.
And the tow truck followed them for a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was like, what in the world?
That's so scary thinking about, like, why would they want to do this? That's such a scary thought, to not have control of, like, your vehicle or knowing where you're going to go.
Yeah, because, I mean, at that point, they're basically kidnapping you.
Yeah, they're basically kidnapping you at that point.
Yeah.
And holding you for ransom because you have to pay for the illegal towing.
The thing is that if they go and try to tow you and then they and then you break something of theirs, they're going to be like, oh, you broke my vehicle. You need to pay.
Yeah.
In addition to getting your car towed. And I was like, what in the world?
That's crazy.
Definitely seems like a scam, but I've never seen or heard of people getting towed in the middle of the street. So that's the biggest like red flag for me. It's like, that's scary because you're in the middle of the street, like they're driving down the road, and then all of a sudden, I mean, they were stopped because it was trafficy, but
yeah,
all of a sudden a tow truck's like, nope, coming with me.
Yeah, you know what's so interesting? So you didn't mention Repo, by the way. I did for a time watch all of these shorts, YouTube shorts, where there was a man who repoed cars.
Yeah,
that was his job, by the way.
Yeah,
he went through and repoed.
It's a tough
cars.
job.
It is a tough job, but he did it so quick. But there was never anyone in the car. From every video that I've saw from him, there was never anyone in the car. He did it super quick, and there was times where people would come out and they would run after their cars.
Yeah, but that would be, but they wouldn't be in it, and he'd be already driving away.
Yeah, he'd already be driving away. You'd see them in the rear view mirror or in the rear view camera of the people running to try to get their cars. But I've never heard of anyone getting repoed like middle of the street, middle of San Francisco.
I mean, in this case, typically the drivers will wait, or repo driver will wait until the car is like stopped with nobody in it.
Yeah.
Or they'll be at their house or whatever. It's like, oh, you know, like, because when you make a lease or like you buy the car, it'll have your home address where the car's going to be. So they're going to wait until the car's there and you're not in it. And then they'll come quickly go get it and then drive away. But this is extremely dangerous because they didn't know what was going on. You know, the person was still in the car.
It's such a scary situation. Yeah.
The police are actually investigating to see what is going on, like who did this. And I mean, the name was on the truck, but apparently it's not the same specialty towing as the one that was banned from being in SF.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting on like what exactly is going to happen on this because yeah, it's just like if they're not meant to be there, even the whole situation is just wild.
I don't know. Part of me was like, part of me was like, oh, perfect opportunity. You just get yourself towed, like picked up, and then you call the police, and it's like, I'm getting towed, and it's like illegally, and then you could tell them where you are, and then you have a lawsuit right there.
That's true.
Because they're like, oh, I felt like it was like you're in danger, and then like, you know, where are they gonna go? Like they're in traffic, like in SF, you're not gonna go very far. But I feel like the police can get to you pretty fast. And it's like, oh, obviously you'd be the person in the car, like waving your arms, like, help, help.
I'm the person. I'm the person getting towed. But what if this was you? By the way, how would you feel?
Oh, I mean, at first I'd be scared, but then like if they actually picked me up off the, you know, like
off the
ground, I'd be like, payday. It's payday time.
That's true. That's
payday
true.
time. Well, after I call the police and
after
I call the police and say like I'm getting like this dangerous stuff's happening, and then
you filed a lawsuit.
Then the lawsuit comes in. I mean, like, damn. I mean, it's one from a scary situation. It's like you got to, you know, this is like lemons, and it's like, man, I'm over here looking at the lemonade.
Oh my god.
I'm like, yeah, let's go. But I mean, if they're doing this crazy legal stuff, I don't know if there's gonna be any like money to get from it. Like even if something happens, they'll be like, oh, you know, they have no money to pay you. Oh,
yeah,
well.
That's true.
So I think it'd be wild and crazy to do that. But let us know what you would do, or like what you initially thought about the situation in the comments down below. Have you ever had to be towed? And like, what would you have done in this situation?
I'd run away.
You'd get out of the car.
I'd get out of the car. I'd be like, I'm scared for my life, officer.
Nah, just stay in there, and then call police. And like, oh
Payday.
well, payday. All right, let us know in comments down below.